So for this tutorial, I am using this beautiful yarn. It is 100% cotton, and this is a total of 150 grams. The recommended crochet hook size is 2 to 2.5, but I am using it as 3mm instead because we are going for the mesh effect. And of course, you'll be needing a measurement tape and your scissors. So to get started, I am going to make a slip knot, and I'm going to chain a chain that is total of 17 inches. So 17 inches is basically the divided number for my bust measurement. So my bust measurement is 34 inches. When divided by 2, that will be 17. And because we are working on 2 different panels, which is the back and the front, we are going to divide the actual bust measurement by 2. So after I have a total of 17 inches long chain, I'm just going to go right into the second chain from the hook with my first double crochet, chain 1, skip the next and into the next with another double crochet, chain 1, skip the next chain and into the next with double crochet, chain 1, skip the next chain and into the next with double crochet. So I'm going to continue this until the end of the row, and I'll chain 1 and turn my work. After completing row 1, you're going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn, and right into the first double crochet that you did from the previous row, or you're going to go in with your first double crochet, chain 1, skip the chain 1 space, and then into the double crochet you're going to go with another double crochet, chain 1, skip the chain 1 space, and into the next you're going to go with a double crochet. So you're basically going to continue this pattern until the end of the row, chain 1, and then you're going to do this for a total of 16 rows. Again, if you want yours to be shorter, then of course that means you need to do less. Mine is a total of 8 inches. Guys, after doing your rows of double crochet, chain 1, your mesh pattern basically for 16 rows, now we are going to go ahead and create the same pattern that we did for the neckline. That is very easy. You're basically just going to fold, but I marked mine like I always do. So from this end, I'm just going to go ahead and do 12 double crochet inwards. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish this row off, chain 1 as usual and turn. So right into this first double crochet, you're going to go with your first double crochet, just the usual, and then chain 1. So now instead of just going with 1 double crochet up until the very end of the row, I am going to go ahead and do 12 double crochets basically. So the chain 1 does not count in with the double crochet. I already did 3. I'm going to chain 1 and continue to do until I have a total of 12 double crochets. Don't forget to chain 1 because we are still continuing doing the mesh pattern. So right here I just stopped at my 12 double crochet. So basically from the end you're just going to count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. I mark or take your measurement. If you're using the same yarn that I'm using, or the same crochet hook, and you're making the same size, then obviously you'll probably have the same method. If you're not, and if you're making a smaller size, then I'll advise you to go in maybe 2 double crochets inside, and if you're making a bigger one, I'll advise you to go 2 double crochets outside. That is basically the pattern. So from here on, I'm just going to chain 1, turn, because we are going to go backwards on this 12 double crochet we did, and right here I'm just going to go with my first double crochet, chain 1, and I'm just going to repeat the pattern up until the very end of this row. So I am going to repeat this for a total of 3 more rows because I just finished my second row, and afterwards I'm just going to attach my yarn on the opposite side and then come back to the 12 double crochet and then go back and forth for 5 rows in total, and at the end, and then I'll come back and show you guys how we can attach both of this front and the back panel together. And if you haven't done your back panel, I advise you to repeat the same process, the same amount of chains and the same amount of rows, and the neckline as well for 2 for the back panel, so you can attach both of them together. So I have both panels complete, and at this point mine is a total of 8.5 inches. So 8.5 inches when multiplied by 2 is basically 19 inches. So that is just perfect to go around my armpit area. So depending on your armpit measurement, you probably need to do more rows before you divide the neckline, or even less if you're making a smaller size. This I think will fit probably size medium large. So if you're making extra large, extra small, then you probably need less rows. And if you're making large, extra large, 2 times extra large, then you probably need more rows of double crochet before you divide the neckline, and obviously more chains at the beginning. So now I'm just going to take my second piece, which is my other panel, and right here, this is how it looks. Again, this is very stretchy, and I'm just going to go ahead and just single crochet both of the neck of this panel together on this area, and right after I'm just going to do this area as well. So basically I'm just going to attach my yarn right through the other panel, and I'm just going to single crochet both of this panel together, making sure I grab the chain 1. Remember we did the chain 1 at the middle, chain 1, grab the chain 1 on the opposite panel and just single crochet both of them together. And I'm now going to go into the next double crochet and then the next double crochet and single crochet them together. So I'm just going to continue to do that, and then I'll do it on the opposite side as well. So coming right at the edge, I'm just going to go ahead and slip stitch this, and then just chain 1 and cut off my yarn because this side is complete. And I'm just going to seal this off with a secure knot. And this is how it looks when it's done to the opposite end. And this is how it looks on this end. So right here I have both ends single crochet together. So for this side of the sleeve, I am just going to go ahead and just single crochet right from this first double crochet on this side up until the second double crochet. So basically just going to go into single crochet from here downwards. So from the second double crochet, when counting from downwards, I'm just going to make my way downwards with single crochet, because this is going to be the opening for the sleeve. So I'm just going to take my yarn, and right at the second double crochet right here, I'm just going to insert my crochet hook and then grab the next panel and insert my crochet hook right into that second double crochet, and I'm going to just take my yarn and just make a knot, secure knot. And what I'm going to do in this case, I'm just going to single crochet both of them together. Right there, I'm just going to grab this and just single crochet both of them together. So this is complete, and again when you turn it around, this is how it looks. So I'm going to go ahead and just repeat the same thing on the opposite side, just the same thing I did, and then I'll come back and show you guys so we can start working on the sleeve. This is how it looks now. Very, very, very nice. So let's get started with the sleeve. So I'm going to use the same yarn, of course, and I'm still going to use a 3mm. We will be switching a crochet hook later on and around the sleeve, but for now we are just going to stick to the 3mm that we started with. So again, like I always do, I'm just going to take my yarn and attach my yarn right at the bottom of the armpit area. So basically when you have your sleeve on, this is going to be the armpit area. So right here I'm just going to go ahead and attach my yarn. So let's get into the sleeve. So I already did one side of the sleeve, which of course I'm going to show you guys how I actually achieve it. So basically just did rows of double crochet up until my elbow area, where I went ahead and did the increasing just for the flare sleeve at the bottom, because that's the look I am going for. I didn't want my sleeve to be basic, so I'm just going to show you guys. It's basic, it's actually very simple on how you can achieve that. So to get started, you're just going to take your yarn and then we are going to start the sleeve, and we are going to start the sleeve with the 3mm that we actually used for the panel, and afterwards we will be switching a crochet hook just to get this flare thing going on around the sleeve area. So you're just going to take your yarn and attach it right at the bottom. I always attach my yarn at the bottom of the panel because this is where the armpit hole is. And I'm just going to go ahead and make a slip knot and secure this as well. So from here on, I'm just going to go ahead and go all around my armpit area or my sleeve area with single crochet, because this is going to be the base for you to start working on your actual sleeve. So I'm just going to insert my crochet hook and then chain one, and right for me I'm just going to go ahead and just single crochet in every space available. So this is basically just something you're just going to single crochet just around. So I'm going to chain one and I'm just going to go ahead and just single crochet all around in every available space. So basically you're just going to go ahead and just single crochet in every available space around the sleeve area. I'll just advise you to count how many single crochets you're adding, so you do the same amount on the opposite sleeve, so you do not have two uneven sleeves and stuff. So you're just going to go ahead and just single crochet your way all around the entire armpit area. So right here, coming right at the beginning of where I started with my single crochet, I'm just going to go right on top of this first single crochet that I made from the previous row with a double crochet. So originally, usually you can go in and make a slip knot just to seal off the first single crochet row you did, but I usually, if you've been following my tutorial for a while, you know I do not slip stitch. I work in rounds. So again, I'm just going to yarn over and right into this first single crochet. I'm just going to go right in there with my first double crochet, and I'm going to go ahead and chain one because again we are working this mesh stitch. So after chaining one, I'm going to skip this next single crochet, and into the next I'm going to go with my second double crochet, chain one, skip next, into the next with double crochet. So I'm basically going to continue this chain one, skip one, and one double crochet for the entire row. So coming right at the beginning of this double crochet row that we started, so we did our first double crochet right here. So now again there is no chain one in between this last single crochet and this double crochet, but it's not a problem. All I'm going to do in this case is just chain one, and right on top of this first double crochet that we did from the previous row, I'm just going to go right on top of it with my double crochet, chain one, skip this chain one, and into the next double crochet you're going to go right in there with your double crochet, chain one, and into the next with your double crochet. So basically this is row 2. So guys, coming up I have 28 rows complete, and that is basically up to my elbow. I think right after my elbow and when I actually measure that right from the shoulder, it will be a total of 16 inches. So like you've seen from the actual intro, the sleeves are actually very long. So now I'm going to show you guys the actual flare, because where the flare actually stops. So for that, you're going to make sure you work your last 28 row right underneath the armpit area. So remember, like I mentioned, whenever you get to this area, that means you've completed one row and you're about to start the next row. So right here, this is where my last row, 28 row, is going to stop. So right from here, all I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to start my increase pattern, because we're going to be single crocheting but then increasing along the way. And for that, all you're going to do is right in this chain one space, you're going to go right there with a single crochet, and into this double crochet you're going to go with 2 single crochets. Into this chain one space you're going to go with a single crochet, and into this double crochet space you're going to go with 2 single crochet. So you're basically going to repeat this increase pattern for the entire row, and when you get right to this part, then I'm going to show you the next process. So I'm going to continue to do this increase pattern, which is 1 double crochet in the chain one space and 2 double crochet in the double crochet space, 2 single crochet, sorry, in the double crochet space. Just came back to where I actually started. So right here I have my last double crochet, so I'm going to go there with my 2 single crochet, because remember we are doing 2 single crochet on top of the double crochet space. So right here we're just going to go ahead into this next space of single crochet. I'm going to go with my double crochet. Again, remember we are not slip stitching or chaining anything, because we are working in rounds. Don't really overthink about this process, because it will not be visible at the end. So right on top of this first single crochet that you made, you're going to go with your double crochet, chain 1, skip the next single crochet into the next with your double crochet, chain 1, skip the next single crochet into the next with your double crochet. You're basically going to repeat the same pattern all around the single crochet increase that you did from the previous row. And then when you get to this point, you're just going to go right above this double crochet row with your same pattern, and you're going to repeat this for 5 rows. So remember, whenever you get to this end, that means you just completed a row and you're about to start the next row. So whenever you get to this end, just count until you have a total of 5 rows. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done, and I'll come back and show you guys what the next step is. So after completing my 5 rows of mesh pattern, which is double crochet, chain 1, double crochet with my 3mm crochet hook, I'm now going to go ahead and switch to a bigger hook, which is 4mm. And with the 4mm, we are just going to repeat the same pattern. The only difference is we're using a 4mm. So right here I'm going to, remember I finished my mesh. So remember I started my row right here. I'm going to make sure I work my way all the way to that end, because that is where we're going to start the increase pattern again, but then this time around with a 4mm. So now that I'm there, I'm just going to switch to my 4mm, and I'm going to continue the increase pattern, which is basically 1 single crochet in the chain 1 space right there, and 2 single crochet in the double crochet space. Again, 1 single crochet in the chain 1 space and 2 single crochet in the double crochet space. So now for the entire sleeve, you're just going to continue this increase pattern all around, and when you get to the beginning of where you started with the single crochet, you're going to go ahead and do the mesh pattern again, just like we did previously for the 5 rows, but then in this case you're going to go ahead and do 10 rows. So I'm going to show you guys what I mean by that. So if you look at the sleeve that is already complete, I do have like the 5 rows which are already completed, and this is the single crochet increase row. So you're basically going to go all around with your single crochet increase row. So instead of doing 5 rows of mesh pattern with the 4mm, you're going to, in this case, do 10 rows. So basically that's the difference between these first two. So you're going to go ahead and do 10 rows, and after your 10 rows you're going to go ahead and repeat the same single crochet increase pattern, which is basically single crochet into the single crochet and then 2 single crochet into the double crochet stitch. And afterwards you're going to continue again and do 5 more rows. So basically we have 5, 10, 5, and then I'll come back and show you guys what the finishing is, because at the finishing there is a bit different, just a slight difference between the finishing, because I wanted it to be a bit different. So again, I'm just going to go ahead and finish my increase pattern, do my 10 rows of mesh pattern, go ahead and do another increase pattern after the 10 rows, and then I'll do my last 5 mesh pattern with the 4mm crochet hook, and then I'm gonna come back and so we can finish the sleeve off because we're almost done. So coming right on, I just finished my 5 row, because again, like I said, I went ahead and did 10 rows, did my single crochet increase pattern, and then another 5 rows after the 10 rows, and right here is where I finished off my row, because again this falls right under the armpit area. So for me to end this off, I'm just going to still stick to my 4mm. So from here on, I'm just going to go ahead and just yarn over and do 1 half double crochet in the chain 1 space and 1 half double crochet in the double crochet space, 1 half double crochet in the chain 1 space and 1 half double crochet in the double crochet space. So I'm going to continue this for the entire row with 1 half double crochet in every space until the very end. So with the mesh stitch, you're going to make sure you do chain 1 and then a double crochet right on top of the double crochet from the previous row. So right here you see the double crochet is right on top of the other double crochet that we made. So because we have a half double crochet right here and a half double crochet right on top of this double crochet space, that means we are going to chain 1, skip this half double crochet, and into this next one you're going to go with your double crochet, chain 1, skip the next, and into the next with a double crochet, chain 1, skip the next half double crochet, and into the next with a double crochet. So you're basically going to continue this pattern for 1 more row. At this point your sleeve should be long enough, but if you want yours to be way longer, maybe you have longer arms, then I would suggest you do more rows. I wouldn't suggest you increase again, because I feel like at this point the sleeve is actually really big. There would be no need for you to do any more increasing. Just continue to do your mesh pattern for how many more rows that you would want. So I'm going to continue this, and basically at this point your sleeve is complete. So coming right at the beginning of where I started with my mesh pattern again, I'm just going to work my way up until the last set of half double crochet right there, and I'm going to switch from my 4mm back to the 3mm because we are going to end off this row. And to do that, all I'm going to do is, remember we worked in rows, we did not slip stitch at the beginning of each row. So after your last mesh pattern right there, you're going to go right into this next space with the half double crochet, into the next with a single crochet, and into the next with a slip stitch, and you're just going to randomly make random slip stitch just to seal this off. So it basically seals off like this, and I'm just going to chain 1 and fasten this off. So I'm going to go ahead and sew this loose end as well. So you're basically going to repeat this for your opposite sleeve, but because I already have mine complete, so I do not have to do that. But you can just go back and rewind to where I started with the sleeve. I'll definitely leave a time frame down below in the description so you'll be able to go back easily. So at this point you can go ahead and just like, I'm just going to go ahead and just walk around the borders of the neckline and around the bottom part of the sleeve, just to give it a better finishing than what it looks like at the moment. And to do that, I am going to use my 3mm for this, and I'm just going to take my yarn, attach it to one side of the sleeve. I am just going to attach it right at this bottom part, and I'm just going to make a secure knot. And right here I'm just going to chain one and just do single crochet all around. So chain one right there, and into this first chain you're just going to go with, you can do single crochet or half double crochet, whatever works. So you're basically going to single crochet in the chain one space, double crochet in the single crochet in the double crochet space all around, just to give it a better finishing or nicer look at the end. So coming closer to where I started with my single crochet, I'm just going to go right on top of this with my last single crochet, and on top of this first single crochet I'm just going to slip stitch right into it, chain one, and I'm going to cut this off. And of course I'm just going to sew this right in. So this is how it looks, and I'm just going to do the same thing I did down there around the neckline, just to again knitting everything and just makes everything look put together as well. So I'm going to repeat this, and at this point your sleeve is obviously complete. You can just go ahead and try this on and see if you like it, which I think you would. And of course, if you like this tutorial, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, because I'd like to know what kind of tutorials you guys enjoy. And if you have any video suggestions and any tutorial suggestions, don't forget to leave them down in the comment section, and I'll definitely make time to go through them and just see what you guys are thinking and what you guys are feeling and what you guys want. And again, if you haven't subscribed, feel free to join the family. You are highly welcome, and we will be so happy to have you around. And I guess I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.